I read letter after letter, each one peeling away a layer of the life I thought I knew. Some were dated while we were married. Some even referenced me, always indirectly, like I was a piece of furniture in the background of their emotional drama. One stood out. "Shell, you said Elwood doesn't suspect a thing, but I saw the way you hesitated when he asked about that weekend. You lie too easily. It scares me, for both of us. You told me I was just a chapter. I think I was the whole book." It hit me then, this wasn't a brief reconnection. This had been ongoing, a thread through our entire marriage, hidden behind PTA meetings and anniversary dinners. But the worst part, it wasn't rage I felt. It wasn't even heartbreak, it was disbelief. I had lived beside someone who had buried an entire second life and done it flawlessly. This woman, the mother of my daughter, the one who used to trace the lines on my palm and talk about fate, had written dozens of intimate letters to a man I never even knew existed. And I never noticed. At the bottom of the box, under the last letter, was a Polaroid, faded, sun-warped. It was the two of them, laughing, arms wrapped around each other like they'd never let go. Judging by the background, it had been taken last summer. While I was out of town, I sat back in my chair. Everything around me, the walls, the furniture, the silence, felt unfamiliar, like I had stepped into someone else's home. Because in a way, I had. My wife had built this world, and I had played my part in it without ever reading the full script. That night, I didn't sleep. I left the box open on the table, letters spilling over the edge like wounds that wouldn't clot. The next morning, I called Theo. He picked up on the first ring. "You were right," I said, "about everything." He was quiet. Then, "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You didn't create this." He hesitated. "What now?" I didn't have an answer. Not then. But over the next few days, things shifted. Darlene noticed the tension, the coldness. She asked questions. I gave clipped answers. Eventually, she found the box. And she knew. She didn't deny it. She didn't cry. She just sat down, looked at me with eyes that were suddenly older and said, "I thought I could keep it buried." "You buried me with it," I replied. She tried to explain, said the letters didn't mean anything, that she'd needed closure, that he'd never stopped loving her, and it felt safe to have someone see her like that again. Safe? The word echoed in my skull like a bullet in a bell tower. I didn't shout, I didn't throw things, I just walked out of the room. I filed for separation a week later. Theo and I met a few times after that. Not often, but enough. He's not my son. But in some strange, twisted way, he and I were the only ones who didn't lie. And that forged something between us, not a bond, not yet, but a beginning. As for Darlene, she never apologized in the way I hoped. No grand confession, no weeping regret. Just silence. Maybe that's worse. Maybe it's fitting. This isn't a story about a man who got revenge, or found redemption, or burned everything down in righteous fury. This is a story about quiet ruin, about discovering your life had a shadow twin, and learning to live in the aftermath. And if you've ever found yourself staring at someone you once loved, realizing you never truly knew them, you get it. Some stories don't end in explosions. Some just end with an envelope, and the sound of everything falling apart. Slowly, quietly, completely. To be continued in the next video, final third of the full-length rewrite coming next.